And then there were two NFL teams remaining to play in the Super Bowl. Here to talk about it with us, Hall of Fame quarterback Troy Aikman. I'm Tom Vandervoort. And Troy, I feel a little two-faced here because earlier this season I was asking you about Tom Coughlin, and I was asking you questions like, has he lost the team? Should he be let go? You said, no, this guy's a very good coach. Now I'm going to flip it the other way and say, if Tom Coughlin wins the Super Bowl, that'll be 2 Super Bowl victories for him. Looks pretty good compared to a guy who may very well go into the Hall of Fame this year, Bill Parcells. If Tom Coughlin wins this game, is this guy a Hall of Fame coach in your mind?
Well, he's certainly in the conversation. Tom, as you and I have talked about before, I'm a huge fan of Coach Coughlin's and the job that he has done. I thought it was ridiculous earlier in the season when people were suggesting that maybe he would lose his job. I thought it's been ridiculous in years past when they've suggested he may lose his job during those times as well. I think, you know, Bill Parcells, I guess if you're looking at those two guys, the difference is that at no time that I can recall, while Bill Parcells was the coach, was there suggestions that he was going to lose his job. And I think that, you know, when you start talking about the Hall of Fame, perception is a big part of it. So how exactly will Tom Coughlin then be perceived in the big, you know, in the big picture? I don't know. But someone once told me, back when I was playing, as I was going into my second Super Bowl, and they said, you know, if you win this Super Bowl coming up, it puts you in the conversation of being a Hall of Fame quarterback. And I'd never really given it any consideration at that time, but I think that that's accurate, that when you do have multiple Super Bowls, then you get into the discussion of a lot of conversations. And I happen to believe that Tom Coughlin is certainly Hall of Fame worthy. I think he is anyway, but especially if they're able to win this week.
Yeah, and considering what he was able to achieve in Jacksonville as well. And, you know, he won that Super Bowl, obviously, with Eli Manning at quarterback. Eli also going for his second title, once again matched up against the Patriots. But as I looked at that game you called last week in San Francisco, I said to myself, and I don't know if you felt this way, this is one of the hardest hitting football games I've seen in a long time. 58 pass attempts for Eli Manning. He took a pounding back there, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And I want you to talk from your perspective as a quarterback in this league about toughness and about how important that is for a quarterback and what you think about Eli Manning's toughness, because that part of his game was very impressive to me.
Well, it was, and I think if you look at you know what he's been able to do since he came into the league, he's not missed a start. And I was having this conversation before the game, as a matter of fact, that not only has he not missed a start, I don't recall ever seeing him come out of a game. I mean, you know, Brett Favre during his stretch, there were times when he got injured during the course of the game and then came out. I don't recall seeing that with Eli Manning. It's been really impressive. I mean, it's a hard position to play, obviously, but you take a lot of hits you're not prepared for. And he's played through a lot of things. And you know, when you're talking about players and when you're a teammate, the only way you really ultimately earn respect in that locker room is knowing that the guy next to you is going to sacrifice and he's going to fight through some pain, he's going to fight through some injury and be back out onto the field. And Eli certainly has earned respect by his play, but I think the fact that he shows up each and every week and is playing through injuries, a number of injuries that we probably don't know anything about, certainly has earned him even that much more respect within that locker room. I mean, he's had a terrific season. He's been outstanding throughout, you know, most of his career. But the fact that he shows up each and every Sunday, I think is probably the best thing that he can do for those guys in that locker room.
Was there ever a game in your career where you just felt like, geez, I'm taking a pounding here, but I got to just fight through it?
Unfortunately, there were several of those, especially early in my career, and you know, but that's all part of it. And you know, as quarterbacks, you don't get to hit people. You don't, you know, you're not running the ball, and so there's a lot of things that happen with quarterbacks, especially, you know, in training camp or during the week. That, you know, they wear the red jerseys. You can't touch them, and you know, quarterbacks are treated with kid gloves in a lot of ways by the organizations, and so, you know, there's always that side of your teammates that wants to know, okay, how tough is this guy really? And that's how you prove it as a quarterback, is when you are getting hit the way that Eli was last week, and to keep getting up and keep battling and keep making throws and win a tough ball game the way that he has, not just Sunday but throughout his career. is the way you go about doing that. So there's no question in my mind that Eli is tremendously respected throughout that locker room.
All right, Troy, thank you. That's our talk about the Giants. We'll be back to talk about the New England Patriots in just a little bit.